Hello, my talk today is Drifting with Purpose by me, Deshmukh. And that has a dual meaning. Drifting with purpose, for me, means two things. The first being that no matter where you go in life, no matter where you end up, you must always have a purpose. And that way, you will be able to inspire yourself and keep yourself going. And the second reason for me is designing drifters at MIT Sea Grant. And I'd like to share with you the story of how I got there today. So from a young age, I was fascinated by the idea of biologically inspired robotics and engineering. And this is the idea that in the modern world, we cannot keep going and keeping engineering as a separate field. We must merge with the biological and nature in order to keep innovating. And we're seeing new technologies popping up, including like synthetic muscle-based robots, robotics that are soft robotics that don't rely on hard, rigid motors to operate. And I can show you a few examples of labs that are currently working on that. So at the top left-hand corner, we have the Creative Machines Lab at Columbia University that's working with soft robotics and smart materials, which I'm deeply passionate about, and I'll be sharing more with you later. At the top right, we have the Weiss Lab at Harvard University, and they're working on, well, like I said, synthetic muscles for robotics. And this is a technology that allows us not to rely on the rigid motors that can fail at any time, but to instead rely on the tensions and forces from synthetic muscles. And at the bottom right, this cute furry guy with ears, his name is Leonardo, and he's from the MIT Media Lab. And he's designed to understand being able to communicate with young children and being able to read their expression and find out whether they're suffering from any emotional disorders. From the bottom left slide, this is Erica from the Intelligent Robotics Lab. And her purpose is to being able to communicate, and she's a very emotionally intelligent robot. And these are all examples of ways that we're being able to merge the biological and natural world with the engineering world today. And for me, that journey came at Sea Grant. And Sea Grant is an organization that works on designing solutions to help research, analyze, protect, and save the ocean. They've partnered with community and activist groups in order to do just that. And I'm so proud and thankful for Sea Grant for allowing me the opportunity to work there, and for inspiring me and being able to share my story, which I'm doing with you now. So from a young age, I've been inspired by robotics. That was really the spark for me that led me into the engineering world. And so I loved building, first started off with Legos and into FIRST robotics and different robotics competitions. And this really inspired me and led me into the engineering field. But one material that I found out would change how I forever viewed engineering, and that was smart materials. So currently, today, we design and build with normal materials that are static, unchanging, and the only change that they experience is their degradation and being destroyed at the end when you need to rebuild. But smart materials are different. They have a way to being able to, in a way, think, and they're dynamic. In a way, and smart materials, specifically shape memory alloys, have a unique ability of being able to change their shape and property when applied to stimulus, such as heat, electricity, or magnetism, and being able to contract to its original position. And that's something that really inspired me and got me thinking about what are all the possibilities that we can have with these materials. And so I presented what I had found at the Mini Maker Fair at Princeton Barnes & Noble, and there I talked with many other people at Princeton who were really fascinated, like me, with the idea of smart materials. And that led me to designing solutions with them and ultimately presenting what I had found and the products that we developed at the Maker Fair at the Bay Area. So I thought, where else can I apply this? And so I had applied to MIT LaunchX, which is an entrepreneurship program that allows students to design their own company, to form a product or solution and actually make that into a reality. And so with 3 other really bright-minded students, we came together, discussed the importance of smart materials and the one specifically nitinol, and designed solutions based on that. And we formed the company known as Falcon, and we design products which use shape memory alloys. And so once again, I thought, how else can I apply this? And so I found out about Buoyant Slots Ocean Cleanup Project, which is a solution created by Buoyant Slat, which uses a gutter and a skirt in the middle of the ocean, in the Pacific Ocean, in order to clean up the Pacific garbage patch, which includes mounds of plastic and human waste thrown into the ocean. And so I thought, well, how can we target this at the source of the problem, at the shorelines where plastic and waste is being dumped in? So this inspired me to create the Guardians of the Coast system, which is a system that I've created that uses 2 autonomous underwater vehicles, known as AUVs, paired with a skirt around the back, being able to collect both plastics and microplastics that pose a huge threat to sea life and our coastal communities. And so I contacted Dr. Chrysostomides after I found out about Sea Grant. And he works at MIT Sea Grant, which is a lab at MIT. And there, he was really inspirational for me. And he invited me there for a day to speak about what I had found and my Guardians of the Coast solution. And they invited me back the following year and to work for an internship there. So, and at my research internship at MIT Sea Grant, I worked on developing drifter technology, which allows us to monitor the ocean and ocean circulation, as well as create a map of the ocean, which I'll share a bit more about with you. So what are drifters, and specifically Lagrangian drifters, which I developed there? So they're a 2-part system that are deployed in the ocean and are able to track and monitor it. So at the top portion you see there, that's known as a surface float. And what it does is it collects data from sensors such as pH, temperature, GPS, carbon dioxide concentration, oxygen concentration, and it sends this data to us autonomously through satellites. And at the bottom, you see that's what's known as a drogue, which is deployed and sits at a certain depth at the ocean. And it's able to follow ocean currents at whatever depth the rope is at. So for example, if this is a few meters down, it'll be able to follow the ocean currents a few meters down. And as we were able to deploy more and more of these, we're able to create a system that can map out the ocean and help us understand and research it. And so the goal of this was to develop a low-cost system of designing our own in-house drifters. And to do this, we had to research new solutions and use our own sensors from Sea Grant to develop that. And so the purpose was to develop the Lagrangian drifter at low costs with the following sensors: temperature, pH, conductivity, dissolved oxygen, turbidity, and GPS. And this allowed us to support ocean research, data visualization, and ocean acidification research, which Dr. Ben Bray there at Sea Grant was working on. And so after that summer, I thought, as I entered the school year, I thought, what more can I do? And so I founded the organization Pristine Academy. That's an advocacy group that from people all over the world of all ages. And together, we're designing solutions as well as advocating for the ocean and the planet, giving back a voice to the planet. And so I'd like to thank Sea Grant. And Sea Grant is where ocean science meets cutting edge technology. And Sea Grant really gave me a voice to be able to research and develop solutions to help protect the planet on a global level. And they really inspired me to do this and to be able to talk to you today. I was able to talk with scientists like Dr. Chrysostomides, Dr. Consi, Dr. Ben Bray, and so many more professors and graduate students there. And it was a truly amazing and inspirational experience for me. And my message for you is to hold on to your inspiration because it can change people's lives. So keep your inspiration, and because your talent, your best talent, is your inspiration. Thank you.